Frost feathers the inside of the canopy, the oxygen mask hisses with every breath. Second Lieutenant Jack Harper, 357th Fighter Group, Leiston, Suffolk, leans left in his P-51B, the Packard Merlin thrumming at 2.900 revolutions per minute. 61 inches of manifold pressure. Ahead, the bomber stream stretches like a glittering highway of aluminum, B-17s of the 1st and 3rd Air Divisions. Propellers flashing, contrails painting long pale scars across Germany's capital. Below those scars waits the flak. Above them, somewhere in the haze and sun, the hunters. Little friends, this is Lead Fortress. Bandits reported 2 o'clock high, multiple. The voice is clipped, calm, and a little too tight. The interphone crackles again, red flight. Keep your eyes open, they'll come from out of the sun. Harper glances at his wingman. A silver-nosed Mustang drifting off his right shoulder. Drop tanks still slung tight beneath both wings. His glove taps the fuel selector, drop tanks first. Then the mains, and he checks the coolant shutters. The Packard-built Rolls-Royce Merlin B1650-3 breathes easily in the cold thin air. The two-stage superchargers whine a lullaby of power and promise. A year ago, men in gray flight suits had laughed at the mixed Mustang. An American airframe with a British heart. They said it could run fast low but gasp high. Today the laughter has to find them at 3,000. Tally-ho, 11 o'clock high, diving, 109s. The call slices through the net. Sunlight flickers on oncoming wings, specks swelling into shapes. Shark-nosed Messerschmitt Bf-109 G6s sliding down in a shallow, confident bounce. A second wave hangs back, FW-190A8s. Heavy with cannon, waiting to carve the bombers in a crossfire. Harper feels the old tremor in his forearms. The steadying calm that follows. 2. Jettison, he says, popping his toggles. The 108-gallon paper tanks tumble away, the Mustang lightens. The controls go from good to silk. Red 3 and 4, cover the high right, we're going in. The first Messerschmitt flashes past. Nose winking fire. A fortress slides out of formation. A wing root blooming orange, then, miraculously, the B-17 steadies, gunners hammering back. Harper pushes the nose down. Holds the Pipper a prop disc ahead of a 109 banking away. Short burst. 6.50 cals bark, brass streams. The smell of cordite mixes with cold oxygen. Tracers stitch empty air. He adjusts lead. Fires again. This time the 109 twitches. A panel lifts from the cowling. Black smoke unspooling into the cold. Hit. He's smoking. He's smoking, his wingman yells. The voice younger than the moment. The German rolls over and dives. Smoke line snaking toward cloud. Let him go. Bombers first. Harper says, dragging his eyes away. Discipline. Endurance. That is the whole mission pinned to a single word. Escort. Not the swashbuckling chases of fighter myth. Not the baiting dogfights 100 miles from home. Stay with the heavies. Keep the wolves off their throats all the way to the target, and all the way back. A new formation of 190s knives in level with the bomber boxes, head on. The most murderous angle. Harper shoves the throttle through the gate. The Merlin answering with a hungry, metallic snarl. The nose barely rises as the airspeed winds up. The long laminar flow wings cut the air like drawn steel. He slides across the bombers' noses, interposing himself and his flight in the path of the 190s. Wings flashing as he rolls to throw off their aim. Brake, brake, he calls, and red flight fans like a deck of cards. The first German hesitates. The Escort wasn't supposed to still be here. This deep, over Berlin, and that half second is everything. Harper rakes a burst across the 190's left wing root. Pieces fly. The radial coughs flame that vanishes as quickly as it came. The 190 yaws. Then bucks. Then shudders away in a shallow dive. Flak begins in earnest. Black flowers blooming at bomber height. Greasy and indifferent. Puffs stacking like columns. The B-17s hold their line as if nailed to a rail. Bomb bay doors yaw open, ragged dark mouths in silver bellies. On the radio, a calm navigator counts down a run. Somewhere below, far below, The factories of Siemens Halski and the marshalling yards of Grunau wait for a noon they did not plan. Red leader, you've got high 6, 2 more, closing fast. The warning yanks Harper's head around. 2 109s corkscrew down. Sun glinting on their canopies. Yellow theater bands flicking like bee stripes. He pulls hard. The Mustang's nose heaves skyward. The G's crush him into the seat. The Merlin holds pressure. The coolant stays green. Come on, girl, he says into his mask. The words for himself as much as the airplane. The fight compresses into a knot of motion and tiny choices. Rudder toe. A hair of trim. A short squirt instead of a long burn to keep the guns from freezing. A 109 flashes across his windscreen, a momentary target framed by frost and gunsight glass. He leads by instinct now. All the practice flights folded into muscle and breath. He squeezes. The nose bucks. A seam of holes walks across the Messerschmitt's spine. The canopy flares white. Then the fighter tumbles end over end. A dark cross vanishing into cloud. For a heartbeat, there is only the throb of the engine and the far, static shot voices of men he can't see. Then the world rushes in, the brassy rattle of his wingman's guns. The thunder of the bomber boxes going light as sticks tumble earthward. The drum roll of flak closer than comfort. He risks a glance left. The bombers are still there. Not all of them, never all of them, but more than last month. More than anyone had believed when America said it would fly daylight over the heart of Hitler's Reich and live to tell the tale. On the far side of the sky, a different cockpit, a different mask. Oberleutnant Rudy Weber of JG-11 levels his 109 and finds his hand shaken. Mishmash Mustang, the hangar wags had called it. A mongrel with a British heart. He'd laughed too. Over Berlin, he watches a silver cross with red checks on its nose cut in front of a bomber and spoil a perfect firing pass. And he does not laugh. The new American doesn't fade at altitude. It climbs when he climbs. It is still with the heavies, this deep, this late. Harper rolls level, breathes, and checks his fuel, enough to shepherd them west. If the weather over Holland holds, he calls the turn. The bomber stream banks, a continent of metal curling toward home. The sky is still full of knives.